The presidential custom fire casting iron kettle, carved in just 3 days from a sheet of straw paper, can press half the flying mold firmly onto the ground. The secret liquid ignition point makes you wait an entire week. Once the lid is closed, the 5-digit pattern will definitely amaze you. To make a proper iron kettle, you must first dig out several basins of 10,000-year river sand from the nearby reservoir. After being pressed into a smooth outer shell by hands that have passed down through 3 generations, the gas pipe is ignited. It takes only 30 seconds for the fierce collision of white, red, and blue flames to set the sand mold firmly. Next, a neatly edged opening is drilled. This will become the spout used later to pass time. The clay body in the old man's hand is covered by a larger sand mold. Layers stack one over another. Once molten iron flows into the gap, it becomes a hollow tube. Meanwhile, the straw paper is carefully removed by the elder. If guessed correctly, the drawing should be a pine tree. Besides pine, flowers, birds, fish, and insects are also common decorations for iron kettles. During this process, the craftsman must remain fully focused, gently pressing the kettle body with steady, even pressure. Behind what seems like a simple mold is years of skill shown through subtle variations of hand strength. This one hard piece alone requires pressing 20 to 30 times. If it breaks halfway, everything must start over. Then, a blowtorch is used to continuously heat around the mold, hardening the sand. The process is extremely slow, usually taking half an hour to fully stabilize the mold's surface shape. But having only the outer mold isn't enough to achieve the kettle's hollow structure. So after the mold cools, the craftsman fills the inside with yellow sand. Judging by the mold alone, the old man has spent no small effort. This is the secret method that has kept iron kettles alive until today. Records in our ancient writings indicate that iron kettles can be traced back to the Qin and Han dynasties, where they were simply called pots. During the Tang and Song dynasties, as cultural exchanges with Japan increased, the art of tea also spread back from Japanese monks. Early iron kettles used for boiling tea had no handle or spout. Once the water boiled, people had to scoop it out with a wooden ladle, extremely inconvenient. Later generations added a side spout, originally called a flow. Since there was now a spout for pouring, a handle was naturally created as well. Early iron kettles weren't elegant at all, but after many generations of refinement, they eventually became what we see today. The mold currently being heated in the video is the inner lining. You can think of it as the kettle's internal chamber. Once heated and cooled, it can be placed inside the outer mold, leaving a gap between them that determines the thickness of the kettle body. On top of this, another proportional mold is placed upside down. Though small in size, once combined, the molds weigh 30 to 40 kilograms. When the molten iron reaches 1500 degrees Celsius, the craftsman begins pouring. To avoid uneven force or burns, only 2 kettles can be cast at a time. The pouring mouth is removed while still hot and set aside for 3 to 7 days. At this stage, the kettle's initial shape is already visible. The sand inside has turned from yellow to reddish brown. The craftsman uses the short break to clean off the casting residue and imperfections. The handle, made of pure iron, is also created separately. Its installation looks nerve-wracking. One wrong move could break it. The kettle body is now clearly visible, though still lacking a bit of spirit. To enrich its appearance, the craftsman brushes black oil onto the surface and bakes it at constant temperature. This cycle is repeated 3 or more times until the color fully penetrates the surface, creating a dark, aged finish. The craft looks more and more like antique aging. Unless told otherwise, outsiders would assume it's an heirloom. Since the kettle body is so unique, the lid must not be shiny either. The elder places several fingertip-sized coal pieces onto the copper lid, then carefully heats it in the furnace. High temperature forces a color change in the metal, but the process demands extraordinary skill. A lid as thin as 4 sheets of A4 paper can soften or fail with just a slight overheat. Look at this layered texture, and yet the process isn't done. The elder gently polishes the surface to remove oxide skin while increasing the shine to an unprecedented level. Especially after the decorative knob is hammered into place, the visible beauty of these details is undeniable. Nowadays, completely handmade iron kettles are becoming rare. Many claim to be handcrafted, but secretly use machines to press and pre-age them. How to distinguish them? It's simple. Anything below 4 digits in price is almost certainly machine-made. Think about it. A master needs at least 3 days to make one kettle. How high is the cost of 3 days of skilled labor? So those kettles sold online for $99 or $999 have little difference between them. If there is one difference, it's that real handicraft begins above the 4-digit range. True craftsmanship always pairs with extraordinary value. A fully handmade kettle like this takes half a month from start to finish.